Did Jesus read the Book of Enoch? Could he have learned about the end times from the Ethiopian Canon? While most Christians never heard of these books, the Ethiopian Bible includes ancient texts that describe angels, judgment, and the coming Messiah, teachings that sound eerily similar to Jesus' own words. What if the Ethiopian Bible holds the key to understanding his worldview? Before the New Testament was written, before even the Gospels were composed, there was a rich collection of Jewish texts circulating among scholars, priests, and rabbis. These included the Book of Enoch, Jubilees, and 1st Maccabees, all of which are preserved only in the Ethiopian Bible today. But during Jesus' time, these books were widely known and deeply influential. Scholars believe that many first-century Jews, including Pharisees and Essenes, considered these texts authoritative. They shaped ideas about resurrection, divine judgment, and the coming Messiah, themes that appear repeatedly in Jesus' teachings. Some theologians argue that without these apocryphal books, we may be missing vital context for understanding his message. The Book of Enoch, for example, describes the Son of Man as a divine judge who will return in glory, an idea nearly identical to Jesus' own description of his future return. This striking similarity has led some scholars to suggest that Jesus may have been familiar with Enoch, or at least its theology. The Ethiopian tradition believes that Jesus himself quoted from the Book of Enoch, especially when speaking about the final judgment and the fate of the wicked. In Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 17, Jesus warns that the days before the end will resemble the days of Noah, a direct reference to the world before the Great Flood, which is described in detail in the Book of Enoch. If Jesus knew about these texts, it means his view of the world was shaped not just by the Hebrew Torah, but by a broader Jewish tradition that included apocalyptic visions, angelic beings, and divine judgment. And this tradition survives only in the Ethiopian Bible. One of the most prominent themes in the Book of Enoch is divine judgment, the idea that God will one day separate the righteous from the wicked. This concept appears again and again in Jesus' parables, especially in the Gospel of Matthew, where he speaks of the final separation of sheep and goats. In Enoch, the righteous dead are taken to a place of light and peace, while the wicked are cast into fire and torment. Jesus echoes this imagery in several of his parables, suggesting that he may have drawn from this older tradition rather than just the standard Hebrew canon. The Ethiopian Bible preserves this belief more fully than any other version of the Bible. It teaches that divine justice isn't just about human morality. It's part of a cosmic order that began long before Adam and Eve. Jesus' emphasis on final judgment may have been rooted in this understanding, passed down through Jewish mysticism and preserved in Ethiopia. Some Ethiopian theologians argue that Jesus used these apocryphal texts to reveal truths that had been hidden from mainstream Judaism. His parables often contained layered meanings, accessible only to those who understood deeper spiritual realities. The Ethiopian Canon may offer the best clues to unlocking those meanings. Whether or not Jesus directly read Enoch, his teachings reflect a worldview shaped by the same theological framework. The Ethiopian Bible gives us access to that worldview, helping us see Jesus not just as a teacher, but as a student of ancient wisdom. The Book of Enoch contains one of the most detailed descriptions of angels in ancient literature, including their ranks, duties, and rebellions. Jesus spoke frequently about angels, describing them as messengers, warriors, and agents of divine will. His understanding of angels aligns closely with what we find in the Ethiopian Bible. In Enoch, angels are not just passive observers. They play active roles in human history, sometimes guiding, sometimes deceiving. Jesus acknowledged this duality, warning that not all spirits are good, and that discernment is essential for believers. The Ethiopian Church teaches that Jesus had access to divine knowledge far beyond what is recorded in the Gospels. They believe he understood the hierarchy of heaven, something only fully described in the Book of Enoch. This would explain why he could speak so confidently about angels and demons. Ethiopian monks and scholars have long believed that Jesus' teachings were influenced by the same mystical traditions that gave rise to the Book of Enoch. His parables, healings, and exorcisms all point to a deep awareness of the unseen spiritual world, one that resonates with Ethiopian theology. By preserving these ancient texts, the Ethiopian Bible gives us a unique window into the spiritual landscape Jesus lived in, and helps us understand how he saw the world, the battle between good and evil, and the ultimate victory of truth. The Book of Enoch is one of the earliest known apocalyptic texts, predicting a final showdown between good and evil, followed by the reign of a divine king. This vision mirrors Jesus' own teachings about the end of the age, the gathering of the elect, and the coming of the kingdom of heaven. In Enoch, the righteous are sealed by God and protected during the tribulation, much like Jesus promised to his followers that they would be kept safe during the trials to come. Ethiopian Christians see this as evidence that Jesus drew from this ancient tradition. Ethiopian theology teaches that Jesus did not introduce new ideas. He restored lost truths. Many of his teachings about the end times match the warnings given by Enoch centuries earlier, reinforcing the idea that he was drawing from a sacred, ancient source. For Ethiopians, this connection proves that Jesus wasn't just a prophet. He was the fulfillment of a long line of divine revelation. The Ethiopian Bible preserved this revelation when others discarded it, making it a treasure trove of Christological insight. Understanding this link changes how we interpret the Gospels. It suggests that Jesus wasn't inventing eschatology. He was restoring a forgotten vision of the end times, one that had been passed down through the Ethiopian canon. Over time, many of the books found in the Ethiopian Bible were removed from Western versions of Scripture. Church councils in the 4th and 5th centuries decided which books were inspired and which were apocryphal. But Ethiopia resisted these decisions, believing that every word should be preserved. One reason for exclusion was political. The Roman Church wanted a standardized canon that aligned with Greek philosophy and imperial unity. The Book of Enoch and Jubilees didn't fit neatly into this system, so they were left out. Another reason was theological. Some early church leaders feared that the vivid descriptions of angels, judgment, and the end times might lead to heresy or confusion. They preferred a simpler, more structured theology, while Ethiopia embraced complexity and mystery. Ethiopian theologians argue that removing these books stripped Christianity of its original depth, leaving behind only fragments of the full picture. The Ethiopian Bible, by contrast, offers a fuller view of divine truth, one that includes cosmic battles, prophetic cycles, and the role of fallen angels. By keeping these texts, Ethiopia preserved a version of faith that still reflects what Jesus may have taught, a faith rich in mystery, prophecy, and divine warfare. And that makes the Ethiopian Bible one of the most important resources for understanding the true roots of Christianity. We've explored how the Ethiopian Bible may hold the key to understanding what Jesus studied and what shaped his worldview. From the Book of Enoch to Jubilees, these texts contain teachings about angels, judgment, and the end times that echo throughout the Gospels. Whether or not Jesus read these books directly, his teachings align too closely with their content to ignore. The Ethiopian Bible preserves a version of faith that still honors those ancient truths and invites us to rediscover them. This doesn't mean the Ethiopian Bible replaces the New Testament. It means it completes it. It provides context, depth, and historical continuity that many other traditions lost along the way. As we close this chapter, remember that the Ethiopian Bible continues to surprise us with its depth, mystery, and timeless wisdom. Whether it's in the pages of Enoch or the battles of the Maccabees, the Ethiopian tradition teaches us that truth cannot be erased, only protected by those who believe in it. Thank you for watching. If you found this video enlightening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Do you think Jesus really studied the Ethiopian Bible? Or is this just legend? Either way, the Ethiopian Bible continues to surprise us with its depth, mystery, and timeless wisdom. If you found this journey into the Ethiopian version of Jesus' teachings fascinating, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the Ethiopian Bible. Leave a comment below. Do you think Jesus really studied the Ethiopian Bible? Or is this just legend? Either way, the Ethiopian Bible continues to surprise us with its depth, mystery, and timeless wisdom.